Jesus told them, "Tonight, all of you will desert me. For the scriptures say, God will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I've been raised from the dead, I will go ahead of you to Galilee and meet you there." Peter declared, "Even if everyone else deserts you, I will never desert you." Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth, Peter. This very night, before the rooster crows, you will deny 3 times that you even know me." "No," Peter insisted. "Even if I have to die with you, I will never deny you." And all the other disciples vowed the same. Then Jesus went with them to the olive grove called Gethsemane. And he said, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took Peter and Zebedee's 2 sons, James and John, and he became anguished and distressed. He told them, "My soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me." He went on a little farther and he bowed with his face to the ground, praying, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine." Then he returned to the disciples and he found them asleep. He said to Peter, "Couldn't you watch with me even 1 hour? Keep watch and pray so that you will not give in to temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak." Then Jesus left them a second time and prayed, "My Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will be done." When he returned to them again, he found them sleeping, for they couldn't keep their eyes open. So he went to pray a 3rd time, saying the same things again. Then he came to the disciples and said, "Go ahead and sleep. Have your rest. But look, the time has come."
What's the one thing that's holding you back?
What is the one thing you're focused on?
What is the one thing in your life that is worth being concerned about?
What is the one thing you ask of the Lord?
What is the one thing you are sure of?
What is your one thing?
Friday night, woo! You survived the heat of Texas. Congratulations. Can you believe it? This week flies by so fast every year. You guys come by the dozens. Half of you show up Saturday night and we're like, when this week is going to take forever. It's going to be so long. And then Sunday night comes and then the week it's gone. Can you believe it? It's been an awesome week, hasn't it? Yeah. And we've had such good keynotes. I am so thankful. Let me tell you, I want to give credit where credit is due. John King is just a great guy to work with. And the fact that John says here, run with camp, and he trusts people like Rob Duncan and David Fraze and myself to run with camp, I'm so grateful for that. And I'm so glad my brother Rob spoke on Sunday. And I got to be honest with you, it hurt a little bit. He stepped on our toes. We started camp with a pretty straightforward lesson, like, who's sitting on the throne of your heart? Woo! So we're going to go right there, right from the get-go. Okay, Robert, thank you, all right? And he challenged us to remove those idols and put Jesus in his proper place, the place that was designed and designated for him. And then our friend Jason Herman comes. And Jason reminds us that we have a story. We all have a story. But when that story intersects with Jesus, it changes everything. It's no longer about us. It's about Jesus. And that story transforms our lives. It transforms our wants and our desires. And we don't look back anymore. There's no reason to look back. We're in the presence of God right here in this present day. Let's move forward. And then Josh Ross from Memphis talked about time. And he reminded us of Mary and Martha And Martha was so busy doing the things she needed to do to get ready for Jesus, to impress Jesus, to do the things to get ready for the crowd. And Mary was doing the things she needed to do. Sit down at the feet of Jesus and listen. And Josh invited us in to becoming like that person, to just open up our minds and open up our hearts and let Jesus speak to us. And Dr. Bonner, Steve Bonner, came in on Wednesday night. And Steve opened up a psalm and shared where David was coming from. And he said something that was so powerful. He reminded us that the Lord who is present in this place is most assuredly present where you're going tomorrow when you go back home. This isn't some special, unique place. God is here. But we get to take God home with us because he's a part of us. And then David last night came from John 9, and he reminded us all that we were blind at one time, but when that light hit us, just like it hit the man, we're changed forever, and we could see. And don't you want to grab a hold of that sight? I was so glad that Dave said, don't go back to the way of darkness. Don't go back to the way of blindness. Because when you really embrace the gift that Jesus has given you, there is no going back. You don't even want that stuff. We've had awesome keynotes this week, and I'm sorry, I got a little emotional when the counselors came up. That was really my way of trying to get them to like me. But I'm joking. I think about, they had so many different things to do, and you guys don't understand. You know, like every day we met, and not only did they have to be your counselor, but it's like, all right, this is your job responsibility, and this is your job responsibility. And they had all these different jobs. And then I went home last night, and I laid there in bed. My wife was asleep, and I pulled out my phone, and I looked on ESPN to see who won the basketball game. No hating. This is a stone-free zone right here. We're not going to judge anybody. If you like LeBron, I like LeBron. He's awesome. If you like Steph Curry, I like Steph Curry. He's awesome, okay? But I watched, and I thought, you know what? The athletes today are a little bit different than the athletes when I grew up. Because you've always heard about the physical specimen that LeBron James is, okay? And he is. But he plays basketball. When I was growing up, there was this guy. Bo knows, people. Bo knows. And you didn't mess with Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was an all-star baseball player. He had a short-lived NFL career. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. Sometimes I like to remind my friend Thomas Aduttle, who's a big OU fan, that there's this time that OU had this guy named Brian Bosworth. You probably don't know him. He's loaded up with steroids. It's no big deal. But they had this guy, Brian Bosworth, and he graduated and he went to the NFL. He's playing for the Seahawks. Bo goes and he's playing for the Raiders. And they met one day in the field of battle. 3rd and 1. The Raiders pitch it to Bo Jackson. Brian Bosworth hits him at the 2-yard line. Brian Bosworth was a stud. Bo doesn't know. And Bo just went right through him. Scored the touchdown. You guys don't understand athletes like Bo Jackson. How about this guy? Neon Deion, prime time. And Deion played for a lot of different teams. And I feel like it's my obligation as a Texan and a person who loves the Lord to put him in a Cowboys uniform. So Deion, I went because I'd heard a fact a long time ago that Deion Sanders played a football game and a baseball game all on the same day. False. Deion played football and then went and suited up for the Braves, but he didn't play that day. But he did play the following morning. He pinch hit. So he played a football game, a Major League Football, or an NFL football game, and a Major League Baseball game in a 24-hour span. Athletes today don't do that. They're not that talented. And then we've got this guy. I mean, for real, who can be Ron Burgundy and Buddy the Elf at the same time? Okay? If we bring up Ricky Bobby, we got the Will Ferrell trifecta going on. David is so talented. Just look at him in that suit. I know, it's impressive, Dave. But you guys don't get it because your generation, this isn't the kind of world you live in. your coaches, your families, they say, if you want to be really, really good at something, you can't play multiple sports. You have to focus on one thing. And you have all this pressure. If you want to be the best you can be, you have to focus on one thing. And we have athletes and people that did that. When I say the name Michael Jordan, what do you think of? Basketball. Say Steve Jobs, what do you think of? Apple, yes. Michael Jackson, yeah. The king of pop, okay? They perfected their art at one thing. And I heard someone say it a while ago. Who? Give me something about Michael Jordan. No one says baseball because it was terrible. Now, I love Michael Jordan. I'm a diehard North Carolina fan. I believe if you like the Duke Blue Devils, I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. You can yell all you want. I don't care. I'm not listening to you. Blue is associated with sadness. The Duke Blue Devils, they're sad because they're the devil and they're going to where the devil goes. So, no judgment, okay? No judgment. But I love Michael Jordan. I almost put up the face. Have y'all seen the meme of like every time something bad happens, it's Michael Jordan crying? Okay. I almost put that up. But when Michael Jordan played baseball, I was sad because he was so good at basketball and he left like in the prime. And he couldn't do baseball. That's just not the way he was geared. That was not the way he was wired. And so Michael Jordan came back and won more championships because he was great. And so it made me start to think, Josh, you've got to be good at something. You've got to be great at something. There's got to be one thing that can define who Josh Stevens is. And one day, a long time, now I'm a dad now, and I love my kiddos. They're awesome. But and I've even got some nephews over here that have come to watch their uncle. But I thought, I want to be the world's best uncle. And my two, you don't clap. You don't know if I'm the best uncle or not. What's wrong with you? Yeah. So one of my nephews has a food allergy, and the other one doesn't. So when the other one gets cupcakes, I go give my other nephew like $10. Like, here, sorry, you can't have sugar, but here's $10. So I know, because I'm the world's best uncle, all right? But then I was reminded of something. At camp all week, my two first, my nieces, have been at camp all week. Anna and Ellie are sitting right over there. And that y'all can stand up. You can show love for Anna and Ellie. That's good. They're twins. Stand up. Or sit down. That's good. That one. Okay, that was all right. That was awkward. All right. But when Anna and Ellie were born, I wanted, I talked to Angie, and I wanted to be like the best uncle I could be. I want to be the fun uncle, the one that they all love over everybody. They've got other uncles, and they're good, but they're not this good, and I wanted to be that guy. And Anna and Ellie's mom and dad moved to Nashville, and it hurt because they were living in Stamford, and they were moving to Nashville, and I thought, I got to do something because I cannot let these girls grow up without knowing their Uncle Josh. And I'm telling you, I tried to get it, okay? And I do not get embarrassed by many things. But I texted my sister-in-law, and I said, do you have those videos that I made for my nieces? And she sent me a text, and she has the actual, it's dated technology. It's called a VHS cassette. And she showed me the picture of the VHS cassette, and she's like, oh, that would be great. Let me go see. And she's like, well, the guy can put it and convert it, but it's too big to email and all this stuff. So we couldn't watch it. Sorry. But I would be humiliated if you saw it. Those of you going back to Tyler, stay away, okay? Don't go after that video. Because I put the camera right up to my face, and I was talking to little girls, so I would tell fun stories, and I would bring puppets in, and I would talk with puppets like I'm 1 second away from a Nickelodeon show here, okay? And I'm going off, and I'm like, and then they went swinging, and so the video camera can't move, so I'm pretending to swing as I'm like telling the story. It's horrible, okay? I got like through 3 of them, and I thought, I love them, but man, they're gonna hate me when they watch it. They're gonna be like, stranger danger, let's run, all right? Okay? And so then I thought, I don't know if we have it, so we may go to the next one. But I thought, I want to be the tan guy. Okay, Rob talked about, hey, look at Josh, he's so tan, this and that. And so I went and Googled, like, oh, maybe I could be the tan guy. Maybe that could be my identity. I'd be the tan person. But have y'all seen that, like, the 1,000 pictures of the tan grandmas out there? Like, their skin is cowhide, leather, it's disgusting looking. But then it hit me. I can do this. I can have a Guinness Book World Record. And I could do it in front of the Encounter audience. And I thought that would be awesome. But what do? I mean, there's so many to do, and some of them take hours. I saw a guy hold plank for 8 hours, okay? We don't have that time. I probably could do it, but we've got things to do tonight, all right? And so I can't do that. I don't want to go 8 seconds in plank, okay? And so I started thinking about stuff, and then it hit me. Kobayashi. Kobayashi is the guy who eats the hot dogs like nobody's business. But I'm not going to eat hot dogs. That's stupid, okay? He's done that. I don't want to do that. But Twinkies. I can do Twinkies. And Kobayashi has the world record of 14 Twinkies in 60 seconds. So I asked my friends Rob and Dave to help me break a world record. Are you ready for this? You ready? Okay.
Here we go.
Here we
Time
go.
to do it.
Okay.
Oh, bring your A game, baby. Bring your A game.
Give him some water. Give him some water.
I don't have water.
Baby.
I need
Oh,
to
that's right. That's right. Oh, okay.
Relax.
Okay, yes.
Relax. Take a sip. Take a sip. Take a sip. Let's go.
I'm not.
All right.
Okay.
Need to sip. Sip. Spit it out. Spit it out.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Hold on.
You do this all day, son.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay, hold
Come
on.
on. Come on.
Am I starting it or are you starting the clock?
I think they're going to start here in a minute. Hey.
They're going
Eye
to.
of the tiger, baby. You got
Okay,
this? You
okay,
got this?
okay,
All
hold
right.
on.
Okay, you do this.
Okay.
Hey.
I gotta know when to go.
Hey. If you die, we'll take care of your family. Let's
you,
go.
thank you. Okay.
All right.
Let's see.
Let's
Let's
go.
see.
All right.
No chewing.
Okay, here we go.
Down
Oh,
the
Go.
Here we go. Here we go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Count it down.
Come on. No,
They
more.
gotta hear you. He's
Keep
gotta hear
up.
you.
Come on. Come on. Go.
Hey,
Get out.
Here we go.
Spit it
Come
out.
on, baby. Come on. Put it down. I
Go.
gotta hear you.
Go.
I gotta hear you.
Go.
Over here.
Go. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh my word. Hey. No, you
keep
can do
going.
it. You can do it.
He's got 3 or 4.
You can do it.
You can keep going.
Rob,
Keep
cut
going.
him. Cut him, Rob. Cut him.
All day,
Cut
son.
him.
All day.
Cut him.
You gotta do this all day.
Come on. No, you can. Go, suck it
20
in.
seconds.
Suck it in. Take him. No.
Go. Down the goal.
Go.
Down the goal.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
count him down. He can do it. Count him
Let's
down.
go. Let's go. Come on.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we not appreciate? What the? Throw that on the ground.
Dude, that was an epic fail.
You said you were like, put us on the map, like the first Guinness Book World Record right here. And yeah, like 4.
Awful.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Rob, can we agree this is the worst keynote ever?
You are dead to me. We were hoping to be part of something great, but obviously.
Fine. Failure. Absolute failure.
Yeah, Leonard.
So, are you eating a Twinkie that was on the floor? Hold on, no. The floor at camp. You don't even have, you know where your shoes have been? Thank you. Okay. So, that's not going to be who I am. Guys, I'll be honest with you. I didn't think I was going to get 14. But I didn't think I was going to get 2 either, okay? Those are spongy cakes, all right? And I don't, they're dangerous. Okay. So, what's my, is it messed up? Oh, I got stuff on my face. Dude, we're friends. You're supposed to tell people that, man. Is it still? Thank you, Graham. I appreciate that. Okay. No? You can't hear me? Matthew says he could hear me. I got a, it's on the mic. Sorry, Schmidt. Sorry. Are we good now? Yes or no? Come. Okay. We're going to go with it anyway. Okay. So I'm not going to be a world record holder. And I'm not going to be, apparently, our sound guy's best friend either after getting Twinkie all over their microphone. But I still have to ask myself, y'all really can't hear me?
There.
Okay, wow. Keep talking. I'm talking. Can you hear me now? You hear me now? Yes? Okay. Okay, I'm going to go. We'll power through it. Lesson for Friday Night in Encounter. Don't eat a bunch of stupid stuff when you have a microphone on your head. Take that back to church with you. Okay. So I'm not going to be... Yeah, you're clapping for that. That's really good. Go Jesus. All right. So I really have to ask myself, what is my identity going to be? Because I'll be really transparent with you. For pretty much my whole life, this has been my one thing. That guy. Okay? And that's about how big of a superhero I am. I have to get a smaller size shirt to make me look bigger, a towel, and some wristbands so I could look like a superhero. Sort of. You don't think I can take that? Come on, people. But you got to understand something. That's wrong. If my one thing is that, something's really messed up. And it's been that way for a long, long time. Probably up until last year. Last year I had a moment where I was reading Matthew 7. And I read, Jesus say, there'll be people that do things in my name and they don't know me. And I got scared, folks. Because I was all about the dog and pony show. I was all about people liking me. I was all about people wanting to buy into Josh Stevens. And he's the dean of students at a Christian university. And he directs summer camps. But I didn't know Jesus. And I repented and I confessed. And I changed. Because that guy cannot be our one thing. But I wanted to be the one. You've been in those situations where you've seen someone famous, and you see all the people go around them, and you see how they respond to them. That's what my heart wanted. That's what my heart desired. It is even kind of fun, and I'm sure Rob would admit it too, when you come in and people are like, Team Stevens, woohoo! And they'd look, excuse me, that was a belch. They'd look at someone on Team Duncan, and they'd go, ooh, sinner, you know? It's feeding the ego. I've got a friend who does country music. And Angie and I go out to eat with this guy. His name's Aaron. And we go out to eat with him. That's not the point of the story, people. What's really neat is to see the way people respond when we're out in public with Aaron Watson. And one year, and if you don't know who Aaron is, it's totally okay. He does Texas country music. I even texted him tonight and said, I'm going to tell a bunch of people who have no clue who you are something about you. And he was like, awesome. Okay. So we went to Chili's one night, and as we walked into Chili's, I saw two girls. Bam! They looked at Watson, and they're like, oh, I know who that is. And as we're eating, they're watching us, and we walk out, and the girl comes by, and she says, can we get our picture with Mr. Watson? I was like, yeah, I'll take it. And he's like, sure, and he takes his picture. And I said, you want your picture with me? And she's like, no, and she just walked away, okay? And there was this one time, Aaron and I went to McAllister's, and we're just sitting there before a show eating, and the waitress comes up. And you know, at McAllister's, you don't really have waitresses, okay? But this waitress comes up, and she says, are you him? And he's like, who? And she goes, are you Aaron Watson? He goes, nope. And then she looks at me, and I was like, yep. And she freaked out. She's like, I knew he was the one. She goes and grabs a guy, drags him out, said, I knew it was the one. This is Aaron Watson. And the guy's like, who is Aaron Watson? But that's the way I want to be. I want people to see me like that, the selfish side of Josh Stevens. That's the way I used to be. And it reminds me of when I think about what it was like to see the one. I go to this place on this week in history, and this man is coming into Jerusalem. This is what it says. The next day, the large crowd that had come to the feast heard that Jesus was coming to Jerusalem. So they took branches of palm trees and went out to meet him, crying out, Hosanna! Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, even the King of Israel. and Jesus found a young donkey, and he sat on it. So Jesus is entering Jerusalem, and there is a party, people. And do you know, I've never had people lay down leaves so I could walk on them. And you know there's a crowd watching him, and there were the Pharisees are sitting there going, okay, we know about this dude. I don't like him. You like him? I don't like him. And there were probably people going, he's the one. He's the one who healed. He's the one who fixed the lame. He's the one. And they're watching Jesus come in, and Jesus is having a moment. And I can't wait to see Christ someday and say, will you show me what that looked like? I want to see his face in that moment. I want to know what the people around were doing. What do you think the disciples were doing? Like, yeah, we're with him. It's me, Peter. No, I don't know what the disciples were doing. It doesn't tell us. But in a week's time, something happened. Because Jesus is talking to people. Jesus, he says these prayers, and all of a sudden, we find something going on. It says, his disciples did not understand these things at first, but when Jesus was glorified, then they remembered these things that had been written about him and the things that had been done. The crowd that had been with him when he called Lazarus out of the tomb was raised with him, continued to bear witness. The reason why the crowd went to meet him was that they had heard the things he had done. They had heard he had done the sign. So the Pharisees said to one another, you see, they're gaining nothing. You are gaining nothing. Look at the world, that the world has gone after him. So that's before. That's at the entry. But then there's some other stuff going on. Then Jesus went to them to a place called Golgotha. Jesus goes to this olive grove. And in the Luke account, it says that he had gone there a number of times. Jesus was familiar with Gethsemane. So I don't know why he went there. But in a week's time, he goes from being this all-star stud, this amazing guy, this person that everybody wants to know, everybody wants to talk to there's something going on. So he goes to Gethsemane, And he said to his disciples, sit here while I go over there and pray. How would you respond? When you were a kid and your parents said, sit here while I go over there, what did you do? It didn't last very long. You didn't think about what your parent had to say, what your parent told you to do. You only thought about what you wanted to do. But Jesus told them, sit there while I go over there and pray. And taking with him, he took Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, James and John, and he began to feel sorrowful and troubled. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever felt that in the pit of your stomach, this weight, this heaviness, because you knew something bad was coming? Some of you may be feeling it tonight because you're going home tomorrow and you know it's at home. I have to break up college into semesters. My first semester as a freshman, I didn't come to this school, I went to a different school. And I would do something that was pretty stupid. I would get up in the morning, because I lived at home with my mom and dad, and I would act like I was going to school, and I would go to the grocery store, get some donuts, sit in my car, watch my parents drive by, and then I go home and go play video games or go to sleep. That's not a good thing to do when you're in college, okay? That's going to be awesome for about 2 weeks, and then something's going to get you. Well, I did this for a whole semester. And in our neighborhood, our mailbox was down at the end of the street. And so it was report card time in December. Granted, at this time, I am 19 years old. I go and I grab my mom's mailbox key. I crawl out of my bathroom window. I go down the block one morning. I unlock the mailbox because I'm assuming she's going to be like, oh, apparently I was so busy, I thought I locked the mailbox, but I didn't. And I run back home. And then that morning or later that afternoon, I go and I get my report card. And I open my report card. I knew it was going to be bad. Okay? When you tell your parents, I don't know how I'm doing in school, you are such a liar. You know. Okay? I knew it was going to be bad. And I opened up that report card, and it said it clear as day. 0.75. That chair can do better in college than I did in my first semester. But you know what? It was hidden. I had the report card. My mom and dad they don't know how college works. I was their first son in college, okay? They don't know how it works. And this was December, so I'm in, okay? Mom and dad don't know. All is good. All is well. Gooder, whatever. Okay, so 0.75, duh. All right. So then the kind of a few days go by, and then it's Christmas Day. And we have Christmas. And my mom, she goes and she checks the mail. She hadn't checked the mail in like a few days. And she comes back in, and I'm thinking everything's great. It's Christmas. This is Jesus' birthday. Nothing bad happens on Jesus' birthday. And my mom is looking at this letter, and she's got this face. And I know this face because I'd seen it plenty of times through my previous academic career. And she's looking at this letter, and she's like, Josh, this says that you're on academic probation. And my stomach was like, whoop. And I'm like, what? No way. We haven't even gotten my report card. How do I know what? Yeah, Mom, I'll check that out. Thank you. I'll take that. And it was such that feeling in my stomach because I knew I was caught. I knew I was busted. I hated that feeling. And when I think about Jesus being in the garden, and having this feeling, I hate it. I hate it for him. And then Jesus says this, my soul is very sorrowful, even to death. Remain here and watch with me. And going a little farther, he fell on his face and prayed. Have you done that before? Have you gone to someone and say, I need you to watch over me? Have you gone so far as to lay down on your face, palms up, and pray? You know, oftentimes when we read about Jesus praying, we don't read about him being down on his knees and his face praying. But that weight, he could feel it. So he said, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. We get a glimpse at the heart of Jesus because Jesus realizes there's two cups that he's going to be able to drink from. There's a cup of blessing, and when you read all through the gospel accounts, you read of Jesus drinking from this cup of blessing. He doesn't take credit for the miracles. He doesn't take credit for anything. He points everything to his Father because he's blessed. But there's a cup of judgment that's coming. Now he's Jesus. Jesus, he doesn't have to do this. Y'all remember Zach from Saved by the Bell? Okay. You know, Jesus could do like time out, and Zach would be like time out, and he'd talk to the camera. Jesus would be like time out, everything stops in the whole world, in the whole universe, and Jesus looks up at God and says, really? For them? If this cup can pass, please, Lord, take it. But not as I will, but as you will. And then he came to the disciples and he found them sleeping. And he said to Peter, so, could you not watch with me just 1 hour? I don't know if Jesus felt disappointed. I don't know if he felt angry. I don't know if he wanted to say, Peter, if you had any clue what's about to happen, this weight that I'm carrying. We know Peter said, I'm not going to deny you. I will go to the ends of the earth. I will die for you. You'll die for me, but you can't even stay up 1 hour? Jesus is heavy. You can feel the heaviness of the garden. Again, for a second time, he went away and he prayed, my Father, if this cannot pass unless I drink it, your will be done. And again, he came and he found them sleeping. For their eyes were heavy. So leaving them again, he doesn't wake them up. Leaving them again, he went away and he prayed for the third time, saying the very same words. You want to know if Jesus was scared? He said the same prayer 3 times. You want to know if his gut was hurting. We read about the drops of blood. Jesus is not feeling this moment. He's not excited, and he's going to the one place, the only place he can go to, the only one he can go to say, get me out of this. But not my will, God. Your will, whatever you want. Then he returned to the disciples, and he said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour has come, and the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. He's been praying, he's been praying, he's been praying. His best friends can't even stay up with him. They can't watch over him. They can't do anything for him but sleep. He wakes him up, and he sees it coming. Judgment is coming. Not his judgment, but eternity's judgment. You guys, you're going home tomorrow. And there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things to get ready for. And there's a lot of reasons to be nervous for some of you. For some of you, you're really excited. You get to share about camp. You get to tell your parents and your family what camp was like, what the classes were like, what your friends did, that your new camp romance that you're going to creep on Facebook. You're going to do all those things. But you're going in to a place that is very dark. You're going into a world that does not care about you. You're going to a place where you may be alone, where you may not have anybody to talk to, and you will sit there in the silence of this world. You see, you're in the garden right now, and you don't even know it. Jesus looked up, and you know when he saw them coming, he had his answer. That cup was not going to be taken away from him. And he met it with the heart of a servant. You want to know why Jesus needs to be your one? Because you are his one. He was willing to do whatever he had to do, to bear whatever he needed to bear, so that you could be reconciled to the Creator, to our God. That's why Christ deserves to be our one. Because he did it first. And I get that you're scared, and I get that you're worried, but a life lived in Jesus is the life you are destined to live. That's what Christ wants. That's what God wants. So quit buying into the lies, into the garbage that the world sells. And I know, and it makes me so angry, and it breaks my heart, because this message is falling on some deaf ears. And I hurt for you, because you're not willing to let go. But a song that was not written about Jesus is not strong enough to keep Jesus out of that song. Hear my words so that I might teach you. Feel my arms so that I might reach you. That's what Jesus says to us every day. He's calling you. He wants to sit on the throne of your heart if you will just allow it. And I get there's some of you that are scared. You're like, dude, you don't know the stuff I'm dealing with. I don't care about the stuff you're dealing with. It doesn't matter to me. Did you not hear what Bob Goff said? When Christ looks at you, he doesn't see the garbage. He doesn't see the sin. He doesn't see the addiction. He doesn't see the filth and the muck of the world. He sees his beloved child. He loves you. And if you have never felt love, just look at the cross. You might be saying, but Josh, I know this ends bad because people don't remember the good. They only remember the bad. Look at the Bible. When I say the Apostle Thomas, you think, oh, doubting Thomas. But we often forget. Thomas responded in a way that probably many of us would have responded if we had been him. If Jesus died and went away, and then all my friends were saying, Josh, he's here, there'd be a lot of me that would say, cool, I want to see him. I want to feel him. I want to touch him. Like David mentioned, I want him to grab my face so I can look into his eyes. And we forget that in John 11, we read about this guy named Lazarus. But before Lazarus and his whole situation, Jesus was talking in Jerusalem. And Jesus made the statement. He said, I and the Father are one. And it made people angry. They were so mad at him that they grabbed the rocks and they were ready to stone him. But because Jesus is awesome, he didn't allow that and they left. And then they catch word about Lazarus. And Jesus lets a couple days go by. And he says, it's time for us to go. And you know, the disciples were scared because to get to Lazarus meant they had to go back through that area where they made a lot of people really mad. So mad that they wanted to kill him. And we read about one apostle who says, let us go with him that we may die also. Thomas, a man of great faith. We read about Peter's denials, but then we read how Peter shook up the world by standing up and preaching Jesus. So what do? Where do we go from here? If he's going to be the one, if he's going to be our one thing, do you remember the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls? He saves people. He loves people. That's what Jesus is about. And if you didn't grow up hearing that, you heard a lie. That's the way Jesus feels about you. He loves you. And he doesn't care about the junk. He cares about you. So where do we go from here? If we're going to look at the throne of our heart and we're getting ready to go home, some of us have some decisions to make. Are we going to let camp just be camp? Are we going to let it be a fun week where we engaged with friends, where we met new people, where we had some pretty awesome classes? Are we going to let it be a time that changes us? Are we going to look at Jesus and say, you are my one? I give you everything. There's some of you out there who haven't given your hearts to the Lord. You haven't put him on in baptism, and you're saying, I'm ready. Because it's not about me anymore. I've learned that this week. It's about you, Lord. There's others of you who have been baptized, but you've fallen away because this world is a dark, dark place, and Satan is a bad, bad dude. And you've fallen away, but you're about to be presented an opportunity to say, I'm done with you, Satan. You can't have my heart because it doesn't belong to you. If I'm going to be honest, it doesn't belong to me either. It belongs to Jesus. And I can't wait to see what he's going to do with it. There's others of you out there who are hurting. And you've been lying this whole week, pretending. I know. I've been there before too. But do you understand a heart that is touched by the grace of Jesus cannot help but be unchanged? It can't. If you open up your heart to letting Jesus rule your life, you'll be different forever. Not to your glory, but to his. So, what's your one thing? If you're ready
to make Jesus your one thing? Thomas and best friends are going to come and sing a song here in a minute. Take this opportunity because Jesus loves you. Come forward as we stand and sing.